Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. We got a question here from YouTube user To Be Decided Later, who asks us, what about if there is a JAMS arbitration clause? Okay, so, excuse me. Let me give full disclosure here. I am an arbitrator for the American Arbitration Association, which is, I believe, the largest arbitration association in the country and handles more employment arbitration claims than anyone else. I believe. That is my belief. And so there's some conflict of interest in how I answer this question. Just want to be upfront about that. Like I don't work for JAMS. I don't arbitrate for JAMS. I work for AAA. When I arbitrate, I generally don't spend my time arbitrating. I might do like one case a year, something like that. Generally, I prefer to spend my time working on cases for our firm. And, you know, I'll take an arbitration case. If one comes up in slow seasons like August or December, I'll take them during that time of year, essentially. But I want to disclose, listen, I have a preference for AAA. I think AAA is amazing. I think they do a really good job. I think when I arbitrate, I think I do a really good job. I've had the opportunity to work on panels with other arbitrators for AAA that I thought were very, very good. So I was thrilled with them. So I want all of that out in the open before I give you my thoughts on JAMS. JAMS is a perfectly reasonable and good arbitration association. They offer at their facilities in New York some of the best cookies that I've ever seen. Like, I know attorneys who will pay the somewhat exorbitant fees for JAMS, often pay their clients or their firm's money, not their own, just to get access to these cookies. That's how good the JAMS cookies are in their little food spread. And I give JAMS credit because JAMS fundamentally does understand that you need a food spread over the course of an arbitration or a mediation, because low blood sugar is the enemy of settlement, right? It's just not viable to have low blood sugar and to try to settle a case. It can't be done. So I give JAMS credit for that. Now, that being said, I view JAMS as a bit needlessly expensive. And I'll tell you up front, in our practice here, where we represent plaintiffs in workplace discrimination and workplace sexual harassment claims, we've had some negative experiences with JAMS arbitrators in recent months. One such instance was an arbitrator that was misquoting the law rather egregiously. She has had a storied career, like has done well for herself as an attorney, and now works as an arbitrator, and felt she knew the law without looking at it. And her version of the law was just not viable, but it was also not viable in the sense that, like, if you stop to think about it, that couldn't be the law, because if that was the law, there would be this industry wouldn't exist, right? Like that was fundamentally how I viewed her position on that. And to her credit, she was misquoting the law for a day or two and then accepted oral argument and memos on that point of issue and did accept our position as correct. And to defense counsel's credit, defense counsel wasn't even because defense counsel was getting a ton of help from this somewhat ridiculous, incorrect restatement of the law. Defense counsel never even said, hey, that is the law. Defense counsel was just like, I'm not going to say anything because you're helping me out here. But clearly it didn't want to lie and be like, yes, that's the law. Ha ha ha. Like, defense counsel was just like, can you read? Like, thanks, but can you read? Like, you've had a career and it went well in this industry. What happened, type of thing. Now, that can happen to anyone, and I'm sure I've been wrong when I've been sitting as an arbitrator. I'm sure I've made mistakes. So I'm not like, and I'm also not going to use this person's name, obviously, because the person did the right thing in the end. The person said, "Oh, okay, your memo is correct. I see that this is actually the law, so I apply the law correctly." And we were able to correct the issue, so that's great. But I mean, you pay a lot of money for JAMS. JAMS is fundamentally pretty expensive, kind of exorbitant in my mind, and you don't expect to have these somewhat basic issues with them. So I was a bit disheartened by the whole experience. And, it's hard on the attorneys because the attorneys are trying to be respectful and, really be like, make their arguments in a respectful fashion. But it's tough because you kind of want to be like, hey, stupid, stop being so stupid, But it all worked out. It worked out in the case, and certainly the arbitrator made the correct decision on the law, so that was good. So, I'm not like saying JAMS offers an inferior product. I'm just saying we've had a couple of bad experiences recently, and we generally prefer to not work with JAMS if it can be avoided. That being said, I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with arbitration. I think arbitration for employment claims can be good. I don't like mandatory arbitration for employment claims. I think that does force employees into a box they might not want to be in. But generally, I do think that arbitration is a good option for many employees, especially high-end employees who want to maintain confidentiality. So I don't take issue with arbitration clauses in general, as long as they're offering the option of arbitration rather than forcing it. And I don't think JAMS is a bad arbitration association. It's not my favorite. And part of that is I work for AAA, and AAA is my favorite. So, take what I have to say with a grain of salt. Just full disclosure. Anyways, I hope that helps. If it does, like, subscribe, comment down below, share our channel so it can grow. And if you go to JAMS, get those cookies. You're paying that money. Presumably, maybe your employer's paying it for you. If your employer's paying it for you, oh, phenomenal. Get them cookies. Those are... I literally know a very hefty fella, an attorney in this industry, who waxes poetic about those cookies, and he's a good guy, but it would never occur to me to pick an arbitrator based on the quality of their cookie spread, their food spread. Just not something that exists in my world, but yeah, people do. People legitimately do. All right, take care, everybody.